Hey everyone, Rista here with another TF2 gameplay commentary. Today I'm going to be playing as the Heavy with the Huo Long Heater, the Buffalo Steak Sandwich, and the Delico's Bar later on, and the Fist of Steel. I'm also going to be talking about why I'm not going to be playing very many heavy gameplay videos in my list. The fundamental reason I really don't plan on doing very many heavy videos is actually my fundamental problem with the Heavy is not that it's too hard or that it's too challenging or that I can't apply it to a given gameplay commentary, but the exact opposite. Just I think Heavy is quite frankly too easy to use. It's too brain dead of a class. There's very little thought involved with it, and you know, nothing against heavies, you know, they're very, very useful, but that's just it. It's not the problem of being useful, there's nothing to say about playing as a heavy that, you know, bears saying. It's you rev up around corners, you know, if you're really pro, you give a medic your sandwich, and ultimately it's just not an interesting class to watch, in my opinion. Having said that, I will say this, I love the design of the Huo Long Heater, and forgive me if at some point I call it the Huo Long Heatmaker, since they changed the name of the gun. Basically, for those that don't know, what this does is essentially just sort of a straight upgrade to the minigun. It gives you a ring of fire around your feet, which can be jumped over. It's not a very big ring, but it will catch people on fire as if a pyro had hit him with a flamethrower or whatever, if they're in proximity. As you saw, that scout that ran by me hit the ring of fire and caught fire. The extra penalty that it has with it is not non-existent, because I have run out of ammo with it, but it's really rather minuscule. Basically, in addition to any ammo that you use while you're firing this weapon, you consume 6 ammo a second just by having it revved. As you see, I was stunned by the scout, but I actually still won because he ran up into he ran up and tried to melee me. And even though I was stunned by the Sandman, I was still technically revved according to the game, so I had a ring of fire around me. There's not that much to talk about heavies, even without a medic. Like, one of the main reasons I use this one is, one, it was one of my first gameplay videos with the Huo Long Heater, and two, it was one of the few gameplay videos I got where I didn't constantly have a medic on me. And if I sound a little bitter, it's because I am. Honestly, I think the biggest mistake Valve probably has made that they haven't changed back isn't the Enforcer. It's not any of the really particularly broken weapons that they've basically just been putting band-aids on. It's nothing like that. I'd say the biggest mistake that they really did was the changes that they made, I think at update 119 for the Heavy. They made it so even if you get the drop on a Heavy, he has such a quick spin up time that it's really easy to just fight back if you have even the basic tracking ability. And to me, that really defeats the fundamental purpose of the Heavy, which is he is a huge damage output, but you really have to think about when you're revving up. If you see right here, I'm just revving up around corners just like no problem. He moves so fast when he's revved. Okay, not fast, but comparatively speaking to how he used to. I'd like to call this part general faffing around, because just nothing was going on, so I'll speed this up a little bit. But compared to how he used to, he just moves so fast, and really the only thing that can take down a Heavy is really organized teamwork, or, you know, good spy, good sniper, that sort of thing. and I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it just seems like for the payback that you get with a heavy, there's not that much effort involved. It's you rev and you shoot. There's not much to say. I'll tell you though. One of the gameplay videos I might end up doing is about the only heavy weapon that I actually still enjoy. The only heavy primary is the Brass Beast, and I'll tell you why I enjoy it. It's not because it's the best weapon. It's not because I think it's particularly useful in a lot of situations. That's actually the opposite, again, of why I would like it. The Brass Beast is the only heavy weapon that really seems to require any thought to use with any sort of aggression. That's because it has the actual penalties that the heavy used to have, only amplified more so. You have to really, really think about when you're revving up. You have to, not be revved constantly because you just can't move that fast. These are the things that used to be the reason heavies weren't so ridiculously powerful. One could argue that they were maybe a little underpowered, but I think that there's sort of a middle ground, because I remember back before 119, a good heavy could still shut down a team really hard. He required more thought, and again, this is pretty much just the 10 minutes of me talking about why I hate the heavy, but I really want to illustrate this point. I don't think that heavy is beyond saving. I just think it's just not that good of a class to watch. I will say this, I absolutely love the view model of this weapon, and I really got to get a name tag so I can call it something like the Bowser Blaster, because let's face it, this is probably a can't unsee thing for a lot of people, but let's face it, look at that weapon. That's fucking Bowser's face. That's exactly who it is. Generally, if I'm playing heavy and just want to have fun, the loadout I like to use is the Brass Beast, the Dalico Spar, and the Fists of Steel. That's not the loadout I use when I want to be most effective, but it's, again, the only loadout where I feel like I'm actually having to think about what I'm doing. Here, the entire gameplay video, I'm really just on autopilot. I'm pulling out the Fist of Steel against a spy and being meleeed constantly, and even though I take double damage with the Fist of Steel, it's like, who cares? It's a spy knife and he's pinned. I really just didn't even have to think about it. I could have revved and shot him just as easily. And that's just basically it. There's so much that other classes can do and have the capability of doing that they have to work so much harder for. I mean, you can talk about how easy the Pyro has it, or the point and click sniper, or aim at feet soldiers, but those guys still have things they have to keep in mind. Heavy with a basic awareness of his back and of the distance can pretty much be on autopilot. I mean, as long as you're not just, being ganked by spies constantly for not paying attention, you can be effective. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this rant up, and I hope you enjoyed my gameplay commentary, and have a nice day.